Sunday bites and tidbits. This life they'll help you live it and get yourself together. Sunday bites and tidbits.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hello.
Oh.
Look at us.
I know we's be back.
Oh my gosh.
I know. This is going to be so much fun.
I know. You look so pretty, Terrah.
Do I? I feel pretty. It's been one of those rough days, that we all have. And so that's nice to hear because sometimes you need to hear that you look better than you feel.
No, but you look beautiful today.
Thank you. Thank you. And
I'm
you as always.
excited.
I know.
This is
People
so
have
cool.
been asking us, when are y'all bringing that show
I
back?
know.
Tidbitty. Some lady said the Tidbitty show.
The Tidbitty. Look, girl, people were checking me out too. I didn't know that, and all of a sudden it was like, we got to do this again because people really miss it. That's so cool, though. Makes me feel good.
Yeah, we brought a lot of information.
True.
We gave a lot of important information.
And it's going to be even better now.
That's right. And why is it going to be better?
Because we adding one.
Uno momento person.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, over there we go with the accents again.
Remember that? I used to try real hard. Yeah,
we be slipping into them bad accents. Anyway, but we're really excited because we brought a third person because we figured, right, Babette, as we broaden it from just being about eating,
right,
that mind, body, and spirit is so important. And I'm finding that most of the doctors, like even Dr. Bobby, Dr. Baptiste, they cover everything, and these are vegan doctors because
it all matters.
Yep, having a healthy gut, but having an unhealthy mental state of being doesn't work. So we's about to do what?
What is we about to do?
We's about to invite in Silvia.
Okay,
Mathis, to join us. She's also our tech person, guys.
Oh my God! What's up,
Silvia?
I'm so excited to be here.
And we're so excited that you be here with us.
Hey man, I was a fan. I was a fan before I'm a host. Really.
We're so happy to have you, sweetheart.
Well,
this is going to be awesome.
Thank you so much. Hi, Sunday Bites and Tidbits family.
Hey,
nice to see you. Nice to see you. We got a lot of people on Instagram watching. Hi, Instagram. Hello.
Hey, Instagram, IG. Hey, y'all,
I'm sitting
here got to live on IG.
Trying to also work the Facebook page, but you know me, y'all.
Is Facebook connected? Is it working? Do we need to?
I saw it a second ago, but we're going to be getting us a tech person soon.
Honey, I'm doing my best. You guys pray for us, sister. I'm doing my best.
Yeah. Okay, so we're up on Facebook too. So yay. Yay.
You know what? I can start. I mean, there are a ton of people, but they have all their Instagram names, so I don't know. Hi Barbara Lynn, Creator Greatest, Baby Casey, Normby. I can't. Mr. Simon for life.
Oh my God!
I'm trying to DC Paducci, Lorraine.
Whoa.
I mean, I don't know.
It's okay. So you know what, Babette? Just say hi to all your people because they mostly coming from your page.
Hey y'all, y'all know my dear love you.
And you know what?
Dear now? Is that
you guys can share. You can share.
I just call myself my dear. You know that.
Oh, I love it. Hey, you guys, share with your people Instagram. Share with folks. We'd love to see people on here. We got about 61 folks. We could give it a minute, let people join us. But y'all, please share.
Well, the thing too, is that we're really excited because today what we're doing is just kind of introducing ourselves, and then we're going to bring on our guests. We have some amazing people coming on.
We really do. Yes, we really do. I am so proud of us.
We have some of the ones from last season, but we got a season now. Hello, Marie Johnson saying hello there. Hello, Marie Johnson. She's on Facebook. Yeah, we have a lot of the people from the last season, and now we have some whole new set of celebrities and actors talking about people, how they've transformed their lives. Who else, Babette, we have?
Oh, if we got Dr. Bobby Price, I was like, okay.
Yeah, and that y'all don't want to miss. I mean, y'all don't want to miss anybody because every set of information is important.
Well,
You know,
We
that's
have,
so important to me right
yeah,
now. The whole health thing,
yeah.
especially at 73. Y'all know I'll be 74 in December.
No, I can't.
Would you just count the months? It's like I just turned 73 when I busted my knee. And now it's like I'm on countdown again.
well, you
Wow.
know what? I think when you get to a certain place, it just counts down like the
It goes
sand in the
quickly.
hourglass. They crack open the little hole, and then the sand just
Yes.
goes. It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's hilarious. But you
Ah.
look beautiful, of course. You look amazing. And
Oh, thank you,
that's
baby.
well, that's part of why we're doing this, right? Because we're on here with 50s, 60s, and 70s.
That's
You know,
right.
and we're on here as folks who maybe don't necessarily fit into the ideal, maybe the ideal, but not the typical way that people look or feel
Right.
at our age. And so I'm really excited to tap into the why. Why do we feel the way we feel? How can we overcome things that we overcome in the manner in which we do? And then what do we do when things are a little challenging or very challenging? You know what I mean? And I think that the earlier you start, obviously, with the way that you eat, your way of eating, the way you take care of yourself. For me, I'm going to be talking a lot on the show about supplementation and vitamins and what's happening in the air and all kinds of things like that. And those things are important. You want to start as early as possible. But even if you're already 70, even if you're
True.
already 50 or 40 or whatever you are, you can start now. As long as you can still
Exactly.
inhale and exhale, you've got time.
You got time. And so I'm sorry, Babette. This show is not
No.
just because we're in our 50s, 60s, and 70s doesn't mean that what we're going to talk about does not pertain to a 20-year-old because
Right.
I stopped eating meat in my 20s
Yeah.
and I am 66 now. So, you know, and I'm the age when I mean, I've known Babette for a long time, but I was managing Babette when she was 66. That's
Wow.
yeah. When you did the thing on Home and Family, when you got down, remember,
Oh
and you
yeah.
doing the push-ups, and they like 66,
I know.
Wow.
I
66,
know.
you know. So I'm just saying that to say that you don't need to wait
Wow.
until your 60s or 50s to start eating healthy because when you get to that age, you don't want to be starting if you don't have to,
Right.
No.
and you
No.
want to
And
already have
knowledge
the
is power.
tools.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
You got
Right.
to
Yeah.
get it together as quickly as you learn it. And you should have a desire. You should have a desire on how you should practice the self love and self care. You should want to know that. That's very important because at that point, you're saying thank you to that intelligence that created all of this. It's like such a beautiful gift, a life, and especially when you're feeling good, when you have a
Yeah.
good quality of life, that makes it even better.
So can we
So
do this real quick? Can we go around real quickly, maybe? And Sylvia, you could tell since you're the 50s, you could tell, and short brief thing, what got you into the eating of the healthiness and all of that. And then we'll each take. I mean, I know that most people probably know your story, Babette, but there may be somebody new on. So let's share what our reasons are, and we're going to see how vastly different they are, perhaps.
I'll go. Yeah, you want me to go
Yeah, you
first?
go first.
Okay, happy to. I mean, my story is probably a little bit different. I mean, everybody's got a different story, but I've been a fitness person since I was a kid. I started dancing ballet and modern and jazz when I was kind of late for a dancer. I was like about 13 years old when I first started taking class. But that became very important to me because that world was about being fit. So I've been a fitness gym kind of physical person pretty much my whole life. And it started with my family. My father was very physically fit, and he would do calisthenics at home. And sometimes I'd get down on the floor, and he was a military guy, so he would do push-ups, and so that kind of planted that seed pretty early. But I was always a meat eater. I mean, I grew up in a home. My family is Black and Cherokee, and meat was you start with the meat. You know what I mean? Like you build the
Meat
meal.
for dessert, appetizers, meat,
You
everything.
build a mill around the meat, and it was only my lighter hued friends, my Caucasian friends, who considered like things like macaroni and cheese a whole meal. To me, that was like that was the fixins that went with the meal, right? So my grandmother and my mother would kind of blend soul food and traditional Native American food, and that's how they built our meal. A lot of corn, a lot of beef, a lot of chicken, that kind of thing. So that's how I grew up. But we always had vegetables. We always had vegetables, fresh vegetables, always a salad with every meal. Like that was in there as well. And then when I was, gosh, I must have been about 30, 33, maybe 30, 30, 33, maybe 32 years old. My church did what's called a Daniel fast. And some of y'all gonna know what that is. That's no sweets, no meats. Basically, you go vegan, not vegetarian, but vegan, but also no sugar for 21 days. And so I did that. And I'm telling you, at the end of those 21 days, I felt like I could fly. I was like, what is happening? Now, what's really funny is I had already stopped, and I know this is long, I'll shorten it, but I had already stopped eating pork and red meat long before that when I was 24 because I was diagnosed with cancer. And I was diagnosed in the third stage. So they gave me about 6 months to live. And I was pregnant with twins at the time. And so I started reading and studying and learning about toxins. And so I took the pork out, took the red meat out. And then, 10 years later, they do this Daniel fast and I pull out the sweets and all that. You guys, I felt so. Y'all know how I felt. I felt like I could fly. I was like, I am never, ever, ever, ever eating meat again. But here was my little Achilles heel: cheese, cheese and eggs. I thought, I don't know. I can be vegetarian, but I don't think I could ever be vegan. And then I read that taking dairy out of the life or the way of eating for a child with asthma and sinus issues will clear it up. Well, my son Isaiah had the burgundy inhaler and the green inhaler and the tan inhaler. I got 3 in the car, 3 at church, 3 in my purse, 3 at I'm not. So I took white flour, refined sugar, and dairy out of my children's diet. And Isaiah, his last asthma attack, I think he was 11 years old, and he's 30. Wow. So that's, and then I haven't had an asthma attack since I was 17. So for me, that, you know what, Deb, my last asthma attack was during the Mean Body Knows.
Wow.
You remember that day? You remember that day?
I remember. He was doing a show. The Me Nobody Knows for you guys is a musical. Silvia and I met doing this musical in Connecticut. So that's what she's talking.
Yeah, and they were supposed to be coking the floor, but they put some kind of chemical on the floor, and we all had to lay on the floor and inhale it, and it triggered an asthma attack.
Wow.
I got really sick. Anyway, all that to say, so that's my story. And now, and I've been 100% not plant-based, but vegan for 20 something years, going on 25 years.
Yeah, wow, that's great. Well, my story, I've said this before on the show, is it was nothing too deep. I was dating this really cute guy who's probably still very cute if he stayed vegan, named George Riddick. So if anybody knows him, tell him that I give homage to him. I pay homage to him. He was a vegetarian. And, sometimes we follow the dudes or we follow the girls. Luckily, I followed someone who was doing something that was good for me, which was cut out the meat. And the more I did it, the better I felt. I was like, oh my gosh, I was flying around. I lost weight. Not that, I have body dysmorphia. So anytime I lose weight, shut up, Babette. No, because I can't. Shut up, Silvia. I can't see my body the way other people see it. So even back then, I thought I was thicker than I was. So when I started losing weight, I'm like, now I'm thin and I feel healthy. And then what I would do, I would go on these weekend fasts. I would just cut out all food for a whole weekend. And I was doing a musical and I was flying around the stage and doing kicks and flips. I had all this energy.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I just said, well, what's the point? And back then, and this was, I'm going to say 1970 something, 9, they didn't have nothing to eat like they do now. You ate lettuce, tomatoes, tempeh, tofu, and beans.
Yeah.
And that was it. And you didn't even know how to properly make nice recipes. You just put some beans and you ate salad. If you left a big city like New York or Chicago or LA, you had nothing to eat. Like, but you would go to a restaurant and they give you, oh, here, we'll make you a salad. And they go to salad on the thing. They put some ranch dressing on the side. It's like, no. So it's just this lettuce, tomatoes, and ranch dressing. It was just, so I ate a lot of excuse me. Oh, okay, that was horrible. French fries, baked potato.
Hey, we're
French
live.
fries,
It's all good.
French fries, baked potatoes, and salad.
And
That's
but
it.
you weren't vegan then, weren't you? Just you were
No, I was
vegetarian.
vegetarian, right? And
You know
then
why?
kind of similar. I know because of the pizza thing that back in the day, but similar to you, my son had asthma. My son had bad asthma. And when I had to, he also came out, I have twins too. One of my twins came out with eczema everywhere over his body. So I had to strip his food because the doctor was like, oh, he's too young to be tested. I'm like, no, we're going to figure out what this is because there's no reason why this baby, but it was something that I had eaten that he picked up. So I had to strip everything out of his diet. And then slowly we introduced like milk and dairy back. And then one day I just said, I bet if you cut out the dairy, you will have no more asthma. So we slowly introduced him to almond milk and things like that, just so he could have his cereal. And the inhalers went away. So
Yeah,
any of
yeah,
you, it went away.
yeah.
And
Back in the
Babette,
day, my kids were rice milk.
okay,
It was
rice milk.
rice milk what I did with them, and I know, Babette, we all want to hear all your amazing story, but I want to tell you something, Del D. Yeah, okay. So, audience, get used to it. I'm gonna call her Deb sometimes,
Or D.
or D. It's Terrah that I'm talking about, but we've known each
Right,
other
just
a
so you know,
long,
because I have two names when it comes to certain people.
and we've known each other a long time. And so,
Yeah.
but that pizza moment, I brought it up because you were a lot of the reason that I started seriously thinking about being vegetarian, even when we were kids. And
Wow.
I didn't understand it because I hadn't been around people who lived that way. But I just thought you were so beautiful and so cool and so amazing. And I was like, oh, she's perfect. I want to be like her. And so
Oh, that's so
you
sweet.
didn't eat meat, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And so
Uh,
the first time I ever had a pizza without anything on it but cheese was with you.
Wow.
wow. Well, I'm
Mhm.
glad I was helping somebody's life.
You
Uh,
stop it. Call in if Tara Debbie has helped your life. Go ahead and type it in the chat. That'll be a
everybody know my story.
That hubby.
tell it again.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna tell that whole lengthy thing, but anyway, yeah,
We got time. We ain't been out here but 18 minutes. We
oh,
got time.
oh, that's true, huh? So basically, in 1990, um, after I grew up, because I was pretty much like the asthma, eczema, ate every single thing that wasn't nailed down, and by the time I was about to turn 40 years old, I met Ron. He introduced me to the vegan lifestyle and gave me a couple of books, began to educate myself. And man, it's just been an awesome journey as it pertains to my health. Because, like you guys, the asthma the went away, eczema went away. I had horrible skin from refined sugar. All of that went away, and I've just been living, having an awesome, awesome journey since I educated myself to a
Mm.
degree and changed the lifestyle. So, yeah, it's all good. I'm really happy about that.
And
You be
everybody, as you
beautiful,
can hear,
Debbie.
everybody had some different reasons. I mean, mine was not health related, but it turned out to be related, a good thing for my health. You know what I
Right,
mean? And
and
I
your
felt,
babies.
and my babies, but even because this was years so long ago, I wasn't even thinking about having kids, but the change, the adjustment shifted everything in my whole system. And I didn't realize it because I was so used to being a certain way. Oh, you know what the other thing it did? I used to have severe allergies,
Me
like
too.
Really?
so bad where I would sneeze and my
Yeah,
nose would bleed every day. And I'd walk down the street and be like, hurt you, hurt you. Gone,
yeah. I
gone.
did too. I did too. I had bad earaches too at one time. But I would have Kleenex 24 hours a day. And they'd find them in the bed with me. When I make the
Oh,
bed, I'm pulling out Kleenex. but I had those allergies as well. It was horrible.
I had eczema. I had eczema in my arms, around my neck, behind
You
my.
had it there too. I did
I had
too.
eczema. I had asthma.
Yeah.
I had hay fever. I
Oh,
was
me too.
allergic to cats. Now I have two, which is a whole other story.
Yeah, I was allergic to the dander. The
I
cats would
couldn't.
just make me wheeze, and it
It
would be
was just a
crazy.
whole thing, you know. And I don't think I initially attributed, all of that kind of going away to being vegan until I educated myself
Right.
and then understand. And for me, it becomes a lot. It comes a lot down to free radicals and the toxins that you're putting. And we'll talk about free radicals and antioxidants and all of that. But you can take supplements and you can put skin cream on and you can do all of that. But ultimately, what you put in your body
Mm-hmm.
is going to have more of an effect than what you
Right.
put on your skin.
Right.
Mm.
It can all work in concert, but I'm just saying what you're putting in, what you're drinking, what you're eating, what you're ingesting is
Right.
going to have a lot to do with, all the rest of it,
Yeah.
So, and also your mind. I mean, I think it's important also, I think, to connect the mind body, that like what the mind body connection is and how important that is. I mean, when I say mind, I'm not actually talking about brain yet. I am really talking about your mind. But when you're talking about it from a physiological perspective, now we're talking about the brain. We're talking
Yes.
about the hippocampus, and we were talking about that the other day, weren't we, Dee? Like when every time you go for a walk, or when you work out, or when you take an ice cold shower, you're making the hippocampus bigger, which is pushing you further and further away from the possibility of dementia or Alzheimer's or some of those other things. And those are just little things you can do that don't really have to do with what you eat. But if you also add meditation to that and affirmation to that and really, protecting yourself from all of this madness because really anything toxic is toxic. If it's words, if it's the news, it's toxic, right? So, and your body's going to turn into a chemical that's going to affect you. But anyway, these are things that we'll get into. I also want to talk about like who's going to be on the show. I know you mentioned some of the people.
Yeah, well, we talked about Bobby Price, Dr. Bobby Price. We talked about Malik Yoba. No, we haven't.
Malik Yob is going to be on the show.
Do y'all remember Malik Yoba?
Yeah, New York Undercover
New
and,
York
and Empire
and
and
Empire and a bunch of other TV shows.
yeah, he's
Who else?
just a good person though too. He's doing some really, really wonderful things in the world that don't have anything to do with acting right now. Senator Carol Moseley Braun.
There
Oh
you
my God.
go.
Yes, that
Awesomeness.
and you know what?
Amazing.
On the heels of us having Kamala coming as a possible president,
Ah, no,
this
she
was
is
just
going
something
to be
because
our president.
yes,
Period.
because Senator was the first. She was the first
Yes.
Black senator, female.
Right.
So this, it's so nice to see that there are a lot of different worlds out there where people are actually making first and jumping into paving, the
Right.
way for so much. And back to why it's important that your mind, body, and spirit are aligned, because you don't want to be missing out on this good stuff
No,
because you
you
can
don't.
function.
It's so
So
nice.
I just wanted to add something before we go into that, Sylvia, when you were talking about taking walks and stuff, and why this show is about all three things. Because yeah, you could take walks and you can meditate and you can get all that together, but you're going to have to work overtime because now physically something's wrong because you didn't take care of yourself. You put stuff in your body that messes up your body. So now you got to work overtime mentally just to stay on top of what's going on with you physically.
Wow.
So it's a combination of, that's why all those three things go hand in hand. Because also, if you eat healthy, but you never get off the couch, those limbs as you get older, they're going to get tight. They're going to get locked. And like yesterday, I twisted my knee. I don't know how I twisted my knee, but when you get an age, everything just twists and breaks. You look to the right, the whole left side goes numb. Stuff just happens. But today, I had made a choice yesterday. I was like, oh, are we doing that? Oh, no, we're not doing that. Because see, what I don't do is walk on canes. That's not where I am in my consciousness at this moment. And so, yeah, I went out last night to Robert Townsend. They were honoring him. So I went out to that event. And then but I slid out with a leg. I was like, okay. And then
You looked
today,
gorgeous, by the way.
thank you. But today I feel so much better. I'm not quite there yet, but it just happened yesterday. But this
Yeah.
is all from exercising. This is all from getting off the couch. This is all for my body not having to work overtime on 50,000 things because I'm doing a lot of the self work myself. So
Well,
that's what. Go ahead.
yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
And it's
Babette.
also because your body is not so busy trying to detox you that it doesn't have time to heal you, which is why the fasting part is so important. Because if you
Oh,
stop shoveling food in your face and just don't eat, it's free. You know, it's free.
Babette, what do you have to say about all that?
in terms of food abstinence, I think it's an awesome thing to do. I do it 3 to 4 times a year. I'm coming up on in September. I'm gonna start a detox and a water cleanse.
Yeah.
It's about that time, but it's. I consider it bathing the inside, and I
Mm.
mean, we have absolutely no problem taking baths or showers every single day, but it's absolutely rare. We've got 365 days in 1 year, and it's very, very rare that a person will take at least 10 days to cleanse the inside. It's incredible to me. And also another thing I really wanted to say, especially to younger people in particular, knowledge is power. Everything that you're doing right now for you, every decision you make that affects you also affects the whole. And no, understanding that you are part of a species and there is a particular diet for said species. And once you understand who and what you are, what your gear is, how you break food down, and all of that kind of stuff, you can make better choices for yourself and the whole,
Hmm.
I believe.
Yeah, I totally believe. You know what? And if you can't, it's a very, we all grew up in households that had,
Yeah.
we all grew up on meat. Last night at the event, I was so hungry and they were passing out oxtail and grits and little things. And I was like, okay, but that's what we know to eat. And it was delicious because they would, I'm sure I didn't eat, I'd be in the hospital right now. But
You don't even eat grits.
yeah, well, grits, forget
You
that.
hate grits.
I hate grits. I've always hated grits.
I love grits.
No, I hate it with a passion. It
I
will
love
make me,
them too.
I
no.
love
I
grits.
love I love the yellow polenta. That's what we use at stuff I eat. She don't like them. She
No,
just
you
like,
don't eat no kind
she
of
won't
cereal.
even eat my most popular
No.
casserole, the
And
enchilada
and
pie,
it's
because it's got grits,
and you
polenta
know
in
what?
it.
What's so funny? Because I was when she was like, oh, she gave me some, and I was like, oh, because everybody was saying it's so good, and I ate, and I was like, something's in here, and I knew it was grits. I said, is it grits? She goes, well, I said, I knew it. I grew up on that, and I never liked it, and because they forced me to eat it, like forced me to eat it, I would just regurgitate all day long grits. So now, if you come to my house and you want to make some grits, you better wash out the pot. I don't even want to see a pot of grits on my stove. That's how much grits and I do not get along. But with all that said, I was about to say this. Every night we go to sleep, we sleep for maybe 7, 8 hours. And right before that, most of us do not eat. So hypothetically, if you stop eating at 10 and you don't eat to 10, you just had a 12-hour fast. So when you get up in the morning, I would say it's better always to drink some water first, get your body going, and then take a moment and decide, I just fasted. What do I want to put in my body first thing? Do I want to put some grits and eggs and ham and bacon and cheese? Or do I want to have something light and maybe have that during the afternoon? Give your body a chance to kind of slowly get into the day. Babette?
Well, if you understand how fast fruit is in and out of the stomach, if you understand about, yeah, education, knowledge is
They
power. I'm
will.
telling
They
you.
will as they watch this show.
Yeah,
They're gonna
yeah,
learn,
yeah,
and that's
yeah.
what our tidbits are. Our bites and tidbits. We're not gonna try to overwhelm y'all
Right.
with just with info dumps. But every time you watch, you're gonna walk away with a little something else and a little something else and a little something else that you can add to your arsenal of knowledge. And that's what
Exactly.
we're doing right now.
It's
Yeah,
so important. It is so
yeah.
important. Just like what Terrah's saying, after 8 hours of nothing on your stomach, or 10 hours, as you said, if you stop eating at a certain time, then you get up in the morning on an empty stomach. You don't want to put something so heavy on the stomach. It's gonna take all day for it to
Well,
digest,
I
the
mean,
best thing for you to do is get up. Hey, have a smoothie, but really warmth. The first thing you should put in your gut is warmth. But like Sylvia said, going forward, just stay tuned. You
yeah,
will
yeah.
you will get all this. Or
But
sources, at
think
least
about this.
sources.
What I mean, it's the reason it's called breakfast is because it's break fast.
Break
That's why
fast.
it's
Mm-hmm.
called breakfast. So ideally, think about when you if you've ever gone a long time without eating. And this is a crazy story. I was married before, and the person I was after we did that Daniel fast, he decided to break it with a steak.
Oh,
Ooh.
And when I tell
ouch.
you, he almost had to go to the hospital.
That's horrible.
And
You
we'll get
can't
into
do
all
that.
the reasons why. It wasn't just because it was steak. It was that, but it was his body didn't even wasn't even
So what you
digesting
do with
anymore.
it?
Oh
Didn't even
my
do it.
God.
So to that end, when you wake, if you're somebody who eats all day, and then you go 8 hours and don't eat anything, that's a pretty long fast for you. So the first thing you want to do is not put toxins in your body because now your body is going to instantly dehydrate. This is not complicated. I'm going to keep this simple. It's going to dehydrate because now it's going to try to detox you. And they go, well, I drink a lot of water. That's true, but a lot of people drink a lot of water. But if you drink water and you dump toxins in your body's not hydrating you. It's the water is being used to flush, to detox you. And frankly, if you eat fruit that's heavy in water, like papaya, that'll hydrate you faster anyway than a glass of water will. So there's a whole kind of you have to do also what's good for your body. Like some people don't do well with fruit. Some people don't do, but you have to do what works for you. But ultimately, what you want to do is eat as light in the morning as possible, or don't eat until noon. Let that fast go a little bit longer, get those little extra benefits. You know what I mean? Or like Deb, go for a walk and have some water and do all that. Man, the things that happen to the things that happen, you don't even realize are happening until you go and take your blood pressure and go, wow. Or you're looking at your heart rate and you're like, that's a 20-year-old heart rate. Like, what's happening? You know what I mean? Yeah, all those things. So
Well,
we're
yeah, let's slide into when you're talking about a walk because we talked about a little bit about eating. We talked about let's talk a little bit about the physicality and why that's because
okay.
we all three of us have something that we do. I
Yeah.
you know I'm not a gym person, but I love to hike and but I will go to the gym just to make sure I'm doing some weight stuff. So I'm toning my arms and doing some leg lifts and things like that. I'm not one of those people that like to stay in the gym and work out, but I will go bike riding, rollerblading, but I hike almost 5 to 7 times a week and up hills and 2 hours. And that's also my time to connect with self. And then if I feel like I haven't gone to the gym in a few weeks, then I go to the gym, do some leg lifts. And I'm not going to stay in the gym all day. I'm getting there. I'm doing my thing. I'm getting out. I'm 10, 15 minutes. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm done because I don't like the gyms. But I've been doing this forever. I used to do 500 crunch things
Sit
where
ups.
500 sit-ups challenges where I would do 500 every day. I'll get up to 500, and then I'm like, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm done with that, And now I do no crunches, but I do hiking and I do other things. So but it's important. So when my knee cracks or when I fall down, my body just doesn't break into pieces. It's a little more, yeah, because it does when you get old. It's just like people go, girl, I fell down, now I can't move. And that's not to say that could happen won't happen to me, but right now it hasn't. And I'm a tripper. I'm always falling and falling up steps and falling. I better be in shape. I'm forever falling down something. And people just look at me like, oh Lord, there she goes again. So it's important to keep moving, right?
Movement is so
Babette,
important.
you want to go?
Yeah, well, just right quick, especially since I'm the 73-year-old, it is so important to move. And ladies, especially if you're older and you haven't started moving as of yet, don't get out there and try to go for a jog. Don't do that. Don't do that. Make sure you always stay in your lane. I
That's it.
busted my knee. I busted my knee not too long ago jumping out of my lane, so I learned that lesson. That's very, very important. A brisk walk. I mean, just a walk, breathing fresh air. Yeah, that.
but you like to lift and train and do all of that. That's
I
you're
mean,
more.
I like to do it all. My challenge is always like I've been out of the gym now for since December 5th. But my challenge is always to see how far and how the human body will allow you to go. Since I am 73, like I've been out of the gym now for 7, 8 months. Can I get back in and go, staying in my lane, go as hard as I can go, and really build this up, really get my legs back to where I want them, my butt, and can I really do that at 73? That to me is always a wonderful challenge.
Ooh, I
Let
love.
us see what the human body has
Yeah,
later on in age, you know.
And you
I
know
love.
what? Go ahead, honey.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
You go.
Oh no, I was just saying, even if you don't, even like you're saying, you haven't done it for 7 months, but there's muscle memory in there. And when you've
Right.
done it, for a while and over the years, your body goes, "Oh, there you are," and it may
Yeah.
take you a couple of days, but then you're
Well,
back.
that'll happen especially for myself, yes, because I've done it for so many
Right,
years.
right, right.
But that's why it's very important for people. Maybe you're 50 years old and you ain't done too much of nothing since high school. Then okay, you get yourself a trainer. That's the best thing for you to do, and take it slow, but be consistent.
Right.
I think for me, I'm a hybrid. I think of the two of you, and one of the things I want to encourage you guys with out there who you're watching. Oh well, it costs too much to get a trainer, and gym memberships are too expensive, and I don't have any equipment. And I, honest to God, a walk, walk. There's a man who is on. Okay, let me back up. I'm a hybrid. I love to lift. I love to weight train. I love to lift heavy. I love to lift hard. I love to lift long. I love to lift. I just love it. I love
Heavy
to.
heart. Oh,
I mean, I love to get on that leg press and press a couple of 100 pounds or more, whatever. Like I love to do that. But my life dictates that I don't have 4 hours to spend in the gym like I used to. So what I have done is I've created sort of a mechanism where I use. I'm a big kettlebell fan. And so I may take a 25-pound kettlebell and do 100 swings. Well, now I've worked every muscle group if I'm doing it correctly. And that's the thing about kettlebells. You got to make sure you're doing it correctly. But my daughter is a trainer as well. And so I do check in with her. But and I can feel that doing all the things, including abs. Kettlebells also work abs. But I also enjoy in the morning, my husband and I have developed this tradition. Well, it's not a tradition, it's just what we do. We get up really early, and it's almost like if you ask me at 9 o'clock if I'm going for a 5 mile walk in the morning, the answer is going to be no,
Hmm.
because I'm exhausted. But my body wakes me up, and I'm up and I'm dressed and in the car before I even realize what happened. And
Wow.
what we do is we get up and we have our little bottles of water and our little supplements and whatever that we do. And we do drink coffee. I do drink coffee. And so we take that, we go and we walk 5 miles every morning. And we walk this area called Terrain Lake. Well, there's a guy out there who's in a wheelchair
Mm,
every morning in his
mm,
wheelchair. And he's not working out his legs, but his arms, and he's getting that air, and he's
hmm.
breathing, and he's outside, And so, I mean, for me, it is just moving, just getting your body
Hmm.
moving. You don't have to do a 200-pound leg press or do
Right.
try to make yourself look like Babette in 3 weeks. Like you
Hmm.
can't, you know what I mean, or try to slim down to a long, lean, model-esque looking person like Terrah. You don't have to try. You just do what you can do. You do what feels good to you, because ultimately what you're going to have the most success with is what you're consistent with, and what you're going to be consistent with is what you enjoy.
what you
And
enjoy.
so I love taking those walks with my husband. That's my 3 to 4 hours every morning
Hmm.
with him and with God and with myself. Sometimes we don't even talk.
I love that.
And we're just walking and we're going up hills and we're doing all things. Our goal is 5. Sometimes we do more. Sometimes we do. We have to do a little less and pick it up at night, depending on because life happens. And then that with the kettlebells, but we do take one day off. We take one day where we're just today
Lazy.
was that day. And
And
yeah,
go ahead.
I just
No,
want to say, I just want to encourage you guys, like the benefits of, and maybe we'll do an episode where we'll just talk about walking. We'll just talk about the benefits of walking and what that's doing for your physical brain, what
Right.
that's doing for your creativity, what that's doing for all the things that get activated just from walking. that's a big deal, you know? And so maybe we'll do an episode. We'll talk about different kinds of working out and different facets of working out and all of that. So
Yeah, we have a couple of trainers coming on too. So
yeah,
that would be a
yeah.
great opportunity to incorporate that, because a lot of people, like you said, they say, well, I don't have a gym membership. I don't like being in the gym. You know, they have YouTube now where you could even get down there and do,
Oh,
10 minutes on a chair, 20 minutes,
Oh my
10 minutes
gosh.
stretching. Just stretching is so good for your body. Most people don't even stretch. And then you go, try to touch your toes. Can you even touch your toes?
Girl, that
Can
chair
you
workout is
just,
trending right now. That
what?
chair workout you're talking about is trending right
Oh,
now.
I
It's
don't know. I don't
everywhere.
know a chair exercise. I always
Oh, it's
know the
trending. It's
method.
like everywhere.
Yeah, so I'm
Everybody do
just
it.
saying there's so many different options that you can't really use an excuse of I don't have a trainer or I don't like a gym. You will find something if you really want to work out. If you really
I
trying to
think it
stay in shape.
also comes down to self, like you were talking about body dysmorphia, and I've experienced that in my life because I've had eating disorders as well, and I understand that what that is, and I think sometimes people they just don't feel good about themselves. They don't want people to see them. They don't want to be seen. They don't want to go anywhere and do anything. But if you can just throw on a shirt and some sweats and just put your sunglasses on and put your headphones on, ignore anybody around you. I don't care if you weigh 400 pounds, just get out and just start.
And
If you
that goes
just,
back to the mindset, though, when we talk about, all
yeah,
the pieces go together. You have to do the work, the inner work, the mental work, the inner growth work, so that all of those little idiosyncrasies, they may not be even little to you, but all those little things, you learn how you have tools to manage them. How do I manage? Like, I know that when I see myself in the mirror, I see myself very different physically than I actually am. Because people go, "You're so skinny." I don't see that. For whatever reason, I don't see that. But I know the work I have to do inward so that I'm not torturing myself. So I'm not bulimic. So I'm not,
yeah.
what is that other one where you're just
And
whatever?
bulimic,
Anorexic. Yeah.
I was
So I
both.
don't
I
have
was,
any of those issues
but see
because
what now, since you brought that up, I want to just say this right now for those of you
who are, right.
who are struggling with these. Bulimia is an eating disorder. Anorexia is classified in a different way. And so if there needs to be a trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning, because we're talking about that, but we're talking from experience. I've been anorexic. I've been bulimic. I know what that is. And I know what it took for me to get on the other side of that and for me to stand in a place of freedom. And I know what it takes every day to maintain that freedom. And we're not saying to you, this is just snap your fingers and it's just,
No, no.
it takes, but it's little steps, just a little, and before you know it, you'll look back, 3 months will have gone by. You go, oh my goodness. Oh my, I don't even realize I felt so much better. Or this thing happened, or whatever is going on. We are Sunday Bites and Tidbits. It's S Sunday Silvia, Bites B Babette, Tidbits T Terrah. That's a triangulation. The Bible says, I like to quote scripture, not just scripture, but I do
Quote
love
scripture, girl. Quote scripture.
the threefold cord is not easily broken. The number three is one of my favorite one of my favorite numbers, and that's what we are. We're a threefold cord. It's anything, a triangulation of spirit, soul, and body. The triangulation of your mind and your body and your soul. All these things coming together. That's what we're talking about. It's not just a one-off one thing. That's what we're doing. And plus, we're very candid. We just say stuff.
Yeah, and today we've been really, really, sweet. Not that we're always,
careful.
we're
Behaving.
always going to be sweet, but
Careful.
sometimes we get a little raw and real, because sometimes we're just telling our truths, and my truth comes with realness. I'm not interested. You get to a certain place where you no longer care. I don't really care as much as I like y'all to like me. I'm so tired of worried about people liking me. It's too much work. Babette, where are you in that space in yourself? Because where are you in that space within yourself? Are you finally at the place where you look, because you especially are on social media and they be coming for you sometimes?
Well, yeah, they come for you sometimes, and they come for you for so many different reasons. Especially when I'm being interviewed, sometimes they people can be very combative unnecessarily, because generally I am sharing a personal lifestyle, which basically says this is what I do. Now, you can always do you, boo. You ain't got to do what I do. She just asked me what I do. And they'll take me through all of this like something is wrong with me because I've made the choices, especially as it has to do with abstaining from eating animal
Well,
uh,
being vegan, you just
products
go
and
ahead and
being
say it. You
vegan.
know what you're
Right,
talking about.
right, right. So, but you know, right now I have I spend so much time with self that I really never understood how much I adored myself.
Mm,
So by learning to spend this time with self, I learn self, and I can make a lot of corrections in this in my personality and that sort of thing, especially when I'm dealing with other people. Now, sometimes, especially the closer a person is to you, sometimes it takes a minute. And yes, sometimes it takes a minute, but it's growth nonetheless,
Yeah.
because it does not matter who that person is. If you know self, you should not ever be bothered by what somebody on the outside is saying about you, especially if you know self. And if it does not pertain to you, why then are you allowing it to raise your temperature? And if it does pertain to you, perhaps it's a good time for you to look in the mirror and see if change is necessary and may work in your human experience, you know.
And I want to add to that because you said that if it doesn't pertain to you, then why are you entertaining it? But the fact that you're entertaining it, that means that it does pertain to you, because we don't let things. Somebody could say something to you one way, and you just go whatever, and then someone else could say that same thing, and all of a sudden it triggers something. So what I've learned about my life and my journey is that whenever there's a trigger, there's a lesson. And the lesson could just be to look at myself and go, why am I being triggered? Why what this person said matters that much to me? And that's where my work comes in. So I think that, yeah, it could be some truth to it, or if there's no truth to it, if it affects you, then there's a lesson to be learned. And that lesson could just be you put too much value on what someone else is saying from externally. What they're saying matters more to what you really believe about yourself. And so that's all the kind of stuff we're going to get into. I'm telling you, when you walk away from Bites and Tidbits, you're going to get some bites, you're going to get some tidbits, and you're going to get some good recipes, you're going to get some good training tips, you're going to talk to some guests who've transformed their lives. They're not all vegans, because this is no longer a vegan show, but they are healthy in some form or fashion and have made some significant adjustments in their growth that we can all benefit from. Maybe we as vegans can help them be better in the
Yeah,
eating department.
it's funny. In my perspective, I'm listening to you ladies, and just, I told you I was a fan before I was on the show. So I'm listening to you and absorbing the wisdom nuggets and the truths that you're speaking. For me, my perspective is one that it's going to always go back to a biblical perspective, but it's going to go back to the perspective of, if I see, the only time I posted this the other day on one of the places, that feeling, there's the scripture that says hope deferred makes the heart sick. That
Mm-hmm.
scripture is like, oh, right. But it's true. But I was like, I was walking with Mitchell, just wrestling with that, wrestling with that. And what blew up in my spirit was, the only time my hope is deferred is if I'm trusting in people,
Mm-hmm.
or if I'm trusting in
Yep.
circumstances, or if I'm trusting in the temporal, if I'm trusting in all of this. It's never going to happen the way you expect it to happen. It's not always going to happen the way you want it to happen. It's not always going to happen when you want it to happen. And it's not always going to involve the people that you desire for it to involve. There will be a lot of things about whatever the thing is that will make you feel like this thing is taking forever, or it's not going to happen, or it didn't happen, or whatever. But that's you focusing on the external and focusing on folks and focusing on. I was reminded that day that my hope is in God. My hope is not in all of this. And when my hope is placed there, and I know that He is infallible, and omnipresent and omniscient, knows everything that I'm feeling and everything that I need, and cares about the tiny little strands of hair here. Every little thing matters to source, to God, to the it all matters. And when that's where I'm focused, I'm never heartsick, because my hope isn't deferred. Deferred in this case means pointed in the wrong direction.
Mm.
So when I think of that, but that's when people can affect me, what they say, what they
Yeah.
do, their opinion of me starts. And I heard this lady, this is black lady. I got to find out, this older black woman, older sister that I just love. I love this woman, and I can't even think of her name, y'all. I gotta find it and post it. She says stuff. She says that stuff that's like grandmama used to say, and mama used to say, and she don't even care what you think or whatever. She just says it. And she said the other day, that's all she said in her post. She said, "Baby, I just want you to listen to me. Is it a trigger or is it the truth?"
She gave me that look, right?
I was like, because I mean, really think about that. That's become like the word everybody uses. Well, this is triggering. Well, is it triggering you because
It's the truth.
And
or
then
as you said, that's something to be considered?
sometimes we can be over the top petty,
Mm-hmm.
and really, if you ask the person, you could get into a heated thing, and you ask the person the next day, well, what were you guys so upset about, and you can't even remember, then that's just some pettiness. It's like, and it's still time to take a look at self, and
Yeah.
really and be honest. That, I think that is sometimes so difficult for people to
It is.
really look at themselves and be honest about what you see. And I'm not running 100, so I too have to have those conversations with
Of course.
myself, you know what I'm saying, and not try to place blame outside of self.
That's so good. Have y'all ever done this? Have you ever just looked in the mirror and stared at yourself for like 30 seconds?
I
Yeah.
have.
You know what? I was
It's
just about
weird.
to say that, Sylvia, that, if we really looked at everyone that came in as a reflection that's here to show us something, then we stop
That's so
blaming.
good.
If we just, everybody who comes into my life, if they trigger me, whatever, it's like, why are they here today? It's like standing outside and watching your life as if it's a production. And all the people that came in, so now you're watching this play that you've created. And at any moment you can go, "Oh, I don't like that person. I'm gonna write her out of my script," which is what I do in my program, y'all. Anyway, so I rewrite the script, plug on my
Plug,
show
plug,
for my
plug.
program. But anyway, it's really about looking at your life like it's a production, because we invited each other here. At any given moment, one of us could have said, "No, I don't want to be in this. I don't want to do it." But we are here. You tuned in because you wanted to tune in. So now when I leave the house, if I come across somebody, I've invited, I want to sit there and talk. I've invited them into my world, because I could have easily just passed them by. So if everything's looked at like a production, like this is our lives, these are people we've invited in. And the hardest people in the world sometimes are family members, because
Yeah.
they're the hardest ones to write out, because we're taught that you have to honor thy mother, thy father, thy aunts, thy uncle, anybody, especially old, you like, they could treat you horribly. They could be verbally and physically abusive, but you got to honor them. And it's like,
But you know what though? You know what though, D? It's not dishonoring them to understand that they're not someone that should be in your inner space. It
I
doesn't
know,
mean
I know that.
I'm just saying that's what, and I think that as y'all are listening to this, I know there are people out there. There are many things we're saying right now. We're just saying stuff, but some of y'all are hearing what we're saying, and it's touching you. It's touching your heart. It's answering questions. It's stirring thoughts, and you're dealing with situations that we're bringing up. One of them may be a situation where you got to look at a person or a relationship and go, okay, I don't have to talk ugly about you to no longer interact with you. And for me, that's my ethos, because one of the people we're going to have on the show is Jacqueline Lindsay, and she's the CEO of kindness.org. And that's the power of kindness, the science behind kindness, and the difference between being kind and being nice. Being nice is letting somebody toxic stay in your space because you don't want to hurt their feelings. Being kind is excusing them without malice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference. And that's
Yeah.
what that's a whole other way of being in the world. You know, we're getting to close to the end of the show.
I
I
know
know
we're almost down.
we did 4 minutes.
That
I
flew by,
know.
right?
But anyway, so guys, next week, who do we have on next week, Sylvia? Tell them a little bit about our next week guest. Is Carolyn?
Oh
Carol?
my God, you guys! I almost don't even want. Okay, I mean, we'll tell them. We'll tell them. We have got next week our first official guest episode. We have Senator Ambassador Carol Mosley Braun as our guest, and you guys do not want to miss this. When I tell you, this queen is brilliant and kind. She has so much wisdom. She is hilarious too. She's from my neck of the woods, Chi-Town. First, as Deb was saying earlier, she was the first Black female senator. But the other thing was, in her time in the House, she was the only Black anybody.
Mm.
There weren't even any Black male senators in there, and she has some real nuggets to share about what's happening in the world politically right now. Some really beautiful insight about what's going on just around our new president, President Kamala Harris. And she has a lot to say about a lot of things. But you guys, please turn in. She is legacy. She's heritage. She's someone we need to celebrate, and we're excited to have her on.
She's a leader.
She's a leader.
Yeah. And we have some other wonderful guests. Like we said, Michael T will eventually be on. Remember him, Bubba from Forrest Gump.
Yeah, and we have Malik Yoba, like we were mentioning before. We have there was somebody, I feel like there's some Rhonda Ross, Diana Ross's daughter Rhonda will be on the
We
show.
have Fred Hammond.
There's gonna be a lot of folks.
We just got so many, and those are people sharing their story and their journeys and how they shifted their lives in some form or fashion. And we brought a vast different people on because we wanted you to hear that everything is not about vegan, it's not about workout, but everybody's on a journey to change. And it may come in the form of a gospel singer, it may come in the form of a mother, it may come in the form of somebody who,
or an iconic superstar actor like Michael T. Whenever he can free up to be on the show, somebody like who is an icon and a treasure, not just to the Black community, but to the community of Hollywood. You know, someone like that.
That's the beauty of the show. It's really just basically sharing the journeys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how it could help your life. So with all that said, before we sign off, we always sign off with this one thing.
Okay, y'all, come on now. Y'all know.
No.
I'm probably the hottest mess.
No.
Okay.
So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna each go around. If based on today or the last week, if you have to put your life in a book and give it a title, what would the title of your book be, and why?
Start with me.
Go ahead, Babette.
I bang my pots.
She banged her pots. Okay.
Now,
okay, so
if y'all know what that means, somebody put it in the chat.
I'm gonna tell you what it means.
Okay.
So, like for the day, somebody just kept trying to give me something that I did not want to hear, and so I got my pot and my spatula, and I went into a room with a high ceiling and banged my pot. And every time I bang my pot, they would run away. So I bang my pot.
Bang my pot. Mine, mine would be called shit and stuff.
Doing what?
Doing what?
Shit and stuff. Sorry, I had to curse because that's how I feel.
Plug your ears, children.
Children,
I love it. But you know what that means.
I know exactly what it means. And the thing about it is I can call it that, and then as it's coming out of my mouth, I'm releasing
shit
and stuff. I'm not
not
owning it. So that's
right.
why my book, because I would write that book and then I would say, here guys, this is how you release your shit and stuff.
Shit and stuff. All right, I love
Sylvia,
that.
what's yours?
Oh, well, I've been sitting here rolling around I'll just tell you what came to the top of my head. And that is the game is fixed.
Oh,
So
Lordy.
we play until I win.
Woo!
Woo! Okay.
Deep.
That's there in my book. And then
Wow.
what it means is I already know that the enemy is defeated and that this ain't about me anyway. It's all about God, and He already has the victory. So if I'm in Him and I'm still in the fight, that means the fight's not over.
There
Okay.
you
So we
go.
fight until I win. We stay in it until I win. Because the game is
Pots.
here.
Bang the pots.
That's
That's
it.
good.
That's mine.
That's
All
us.
righty.
Are
Well,
we gonna
we
try to
are.
say our little? Are we gonna try to say our little
I
thing?
know, but I forgot.
Oh, okay.
What is this? Tell us again.
Can we say it one at a time and then
Yeah, you
say
say
it all
it,
together?
One at a time.
Okay, you
So
say
you
it first.
start, Silvia.
All right, babies. We love y'all, and remember, can't nobody do you better than you.
That's right, honey. Let me tell you something. Can't nobody do you better than you.
Oh, honey, let me just share this with you. Can't nobody do you better than you.
See you all next time.
Bye, y'all.
See you next time.
I just realized we need an outro now.
We need an outro.